I am Orel Henry, Chair of the Citizens Advisory Council. Of course, we affectionately call it the CAC. Let's go ahead and start with roll call. I believe Jessica Owen is not here. I am Orel Henry. Yes. Ms. Kaishona Person.
Present.
Warren Boone. Mr. Donald Belton.
Present.
Kim Andrew. Jason Hicks. Dr. Kelly Jackson.
Present.
And Mr. Robert Sims.
Here. Here.
All right. Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is prayer. Mr. Belton, would you lead us in prayer?
Yes, thank you. Father, we are thankful for this privilege that we can pause in our business to reflect on the goodness of your mercy, your grace. We thank you for giving us a challenging yet wonderful day. We're hopeful that each panelist that's on this call has had a pleasant and productive day. We're thankful for this opportunity that we can participate at this capacity. We ask that you will continue to sharpen our intellect, help us to learn, know, understand, and to apply those things that we are acquiring from meeting to meeting. As we have been chosen to function in this capacity, help us not to take it for granted, but that we will apply ourselves to look for good results. We pray for individuals because we have individual needs. And we pray collectively for this group because there is strength in numbers. We're thankful for the city staff who takes the time and the patience to educate us, to instruct us, and to lead us in the right direction. We pray that their works and endeavors will be rewarded likewise. For those who may be absent, we pray that you will continue to keep your arms of protection around them. And those who have come to the meeting with challenges, we pray and know that you're able to resolve them. Just help each one of us to continue to put our trust in you. As we continue through the agenda and the assignment for this evening, we do invite your presence by way of your Holy Spirit, that it will season our hearts and minds, and that we'll make good, prudent decisions that will affect this city of High Point in a positive way. Yes, we submit in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much for that, Mr. Belton. What I'd like to do is the minutes that we had for the last couple of months, those will be emailed out, group. So it'll be emailed, and so we can approve those next week, okay? So we're not going to go through the minutes today. Likewise, what we will do is, as far as the neighborhood updates, those also will be emailed. So Megan will email those out to us and update us on that, okay? But before we get to our presentation for the CDBG, I would really like to, for y'all to help us welcome back our person that has been part of the CAC for a while and helping us out, and of course, making jokes. Mr. Michael McNair, it is so good to see you, sir.
It's great to be seen, sir. Thank you. Glad to be
back. Thank you so much. Yeah, yes, sir. For those of you that may not know, Mike spearheads the CDBG and all that happens here. And of course, he has a great staff. And he will always say that the folks that you see on the screen, they're the ones that actually runs it and makes him look good. So, but we're glad to see we're glad to see you, and we're glad to have this stuff going on tonight. I think we're ready, Michelle. So I know we're about a couple minutes late. So Brandon, if you're ready, we can go ahead and let the first group in.
Brandon, can you bring in the Arc of High Point? Maybe Stephanie.
Yep, Stephanie is in.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have Stephanie with the Arc of High Point. Stephanie, welcome. I believe you're muted, Stephanie.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry.
No problem. Whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and begin.
Okay, so I'm with the ARC of High Point. We support people with intellectual and developmental disabilities in High Point, and our two programs are our specialized dental clinic, Access Dental. That program, we support people in this area in High Point who might otherwise not be able to see a traditional dentist because of behavioral issues or because they have Medicaid as their insurance. Many local dentists in the area may cover a few folks with Medicaid, but Medicaid reimbursement rates are so low that it's often difficult to find someone. We serve about 200 people. And we have a mobile dental clinic that comes to our facility once a month. And we see on average between 18 and 22 people monthly. The other portion of the funding goes to our Wild and Free Transitional Education Day program. We have 23 people currently enrolled in that program. It's primarily folks right out of high school who are looking for opportunities. In many cases, folks with intellectual disabilities find it hard to find employment or day activity or education, and we're there to help them get engaged in the community in some way. Really vocational focused, but also independent living. So hopefully when they get a job, they might be able to live independently from mom and dad. So those are the two programs that we are presenting tonight. Are there
All
any
right.
questions?
Sure. All right, panelists, do y'all have any questions for Stephanie?
Yes. Good evening, Stephanie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good, thank you. This is Rob Sims with Ward 3, and
Okay.
I just have a question about the program with the youth coming out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
What are the age limits for that? What's the youngest that they can be?
18. We are a Medicaid provided program, and Medicaid will not allow you to mix folks under 18 with folks older than 18. So our cutoff is 18.
Okay.
But primarily the folks that we support, though, stay in school until they're 22. That's what IDEA or special education law allows them to stay up until the age of 22. But some of our guys do graduate at 18, and you can start in our program at that age too.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Any
you.
other?
This is
Okay. Yep. Go ahead.
This is more out of curiosity more than anything else. Is it good parental participation that the parents or guardian is with them, or they get picked up and brought there and taken back without the parents being around?
Yeah, it's different. We have predominantly our folks are brought by their families, I would say, but we do have one young gentleman who his mom works, and so he's got his little electric scooter, and he brings his electric scooter to work. We have folks who ride Access, the door-to-door transportation through City of High Point. We also have folks who come via Guilford Transportation who are just outside of the High Point city limits. So they'll take Guilford Transportation. So we have a variety of ways that folks get to the ARC for the program.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Thanks. That also goes for Access Dental too. And several of the folks that we support too are in group homes. So typically their group home managers would be bringing them via their transportation.
All right, thank you for that, Mr. Belton. Is there anyone else that has any questions?
Did
Going
I need
once?
to? Yeah. I didn't know if I
Going
needed to
twice?
talk about our budget or anything like that, but yeah.
Well, yeah, is there anything you want to add, Stephanie?
I believe the request that we're asking for was 14,000. We do have our secured portion that we needed to secure. We've got that secured already. I think that was $3,600. All of the allocation that we're asking for is for salaries. It would be for the program manager over the day program. One of the reasons we request this is that it's often hard to find grants to support she basically does all the scheduling in the front office. The actual dental work is Medicaid funded, but Medicaid will not fund front office and scheduling. And so that's what Laura does. And then the portion for Wild and Free is for our program manager for Wild and Free. And that is for actual programming, not any scheduling or planning time. It's during the program.
Okay, thank you, Stephanie. All right, anyone else have any questions before we move on? Okay, all right, thank you, Stephanie, so much, okay?
Thank y'all for all you do. We appreciate it.
Great,
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you, Stephanie.
Bye-bye.
All right, group. We've got our next presenter, which is going to be Growing High Point. So you can switch over your notes if you have any questions before they start. And Brandon, if they are there, you can go ahead and let them in.
Willa Mays.
Hi.
All right.
Sorry,
Hello,
there was
Willa.
a little pause there
Little
when I
delay.
was being switched over to a panelist. I apologize if y'all
No
were saying
problem.
hello to me. I didn't hear you.
No problem. All right. Well,
So good
do that.
evening.
Yeah. Good evening, panelists. We have Willa Mays with Growing High Point, and Willa, when you're ready, you can go ahead and begin.
Okay, super. Well, I will just start by saying thanks so much for giving us this opportunity to talk a little bit more about Growing High Point. And I know that we are not a stranger to any of you, that you have supported us in the past, and we really appreciate it. But going by Michelle's outline that she gave us, I did prepare just some general remarks. So our goals in High Point's core city, as part of our mission statement, is to transform High Point's core city. And we want to foster economic mobility, provide healthy food in many food deserts, deliver fresh food boxes free or at low cost to the residents there, and foster civic engagement. And by that we mean everything that we do, we are working with the community, alongside the community. We're not working on the community, if that makes sense. We're engaging people to get involved with our programs. I think all of you know a little bit about Growing High Point, but generally we've been converting vacant lots to urban agriculture, either community gardens or as urban farms. And that's the part that is focused on increased economic mobility, putting a little extra money in the pockets of people who are doing urban farming, and also leading toward an actual career in agriculture. Also, we have Grodega, which many of you are aware of and has been supported by the community, delivering food to food deserts, and both in senior food box delivery boxes, and also for people to order and purchase. So our request this year is support of our farmer and training program and our summer youth employment program. And the reason these things are really important to grow in High Point, specifically this year, we basically have gotten all of our infrastructure in place over the last several years. We have the food hub, we have Grodega, we have the vehicle, we have all the pieces together. And what we're really trying to do now is impact more lives, provide our services to more people. And to do that, we have to expand our program. Our farmers in training, the model that we are currently operating under is they come on board for a farming season starting March 1st through the end of the year. And we used to do it differently. I don't have time to tell you the whole story, but so we want to provide them a stipend, because after 1 year of training, or however long it takes for our farm to table coordinator to approve them to operate their own business, that period of time, they receive a stipend, because we recognize that they are contributing to the harvest that we're getting, because they learn as they work. So it wouldn't be right to just ask them to train without any kind of recognition of their labor for a year. So we ask them for a minimum, and the two we currently have are doing much more than 10 hours a week, but it's a minimum of 10 hours a week, and they get $500 a month. So that's probably more than they would earn the first year if they were farming on their own independently. So that's how we came up with that number. It's about $12.50 an hour, but they are actually giving us a lot more hours than that, because they're interested and excited and they're learning new skills. So, and then after several months, or whenever Jose determines that they understand what they're doing well enough, we will provide them with the land and the access, the water access, and the basic infrastructure and tools they need to get started in their own business. And then everything they grow after that point will belong to them to do with what they want to. They can either donate back to Growing High Point, they can sell at the farmers market at our booth, or they can sell anywhere that they want to sell. Like many of you know Andre Davis, and he sells to his coworkers at UPS. So that's the kind of the gist of the farmer and training program. Last summer, I hired a couple of young men for probably about a month, and sort of tested out the program with working with them on a weekly basis, not that many hours a week, but just sort of testing the idea of working with youth. And we decided that we want to do that on a regular basis. I've talked to several people and actually had some conversations just this afternoon with some people that could put us in touch with kids that would really benefit from, say, working 20 hours a week for $10 an hour. And our goal is not to turn all of these kids into urban farmers. We'd be thrilled if a few of them became urban farmers, but just to give them the experience from going through the interview process with us, which we would sort of teach them through the interview process, help them develop a resume, and work with them on, once they get paid, like what are they going to do with that money, and how do people build wealth, and have some just small workshops, because we're not talking about a lot of kids, but just talk them through with those kinds of ideas. And also the basic skills of planting a garden, understanding about the retail end of it. So they would spend some time on Grodega as well, and basic cooking and nutrition class in addition. So all of these things will it will take time from us, yes, but it will also contribute to the amount of produce that we were able to produce in a year. And I think all of you are aware of the fact that the produce that we grow, basically goes 3 different places. It goes to our senior food box delivery program, which is free, and we are currently at about 20 families, and we are taking more applications. We get more applications. I think I've got 3 right now that we need to approve. So we would love to grow that program. The more produce we have, the more we have available for that program. It also goes to Grodega, which we sell our produce to EBT customers at a 50% discount. So, and it goes to just regular customers of Grodega as well, and to the farmers market. So, and at the farmers market, we price things a little bit differently. It's usually a different crowd. So we up our prices a little bit, and we do very well at the farmers market. But the farmers in training and the summer youths would all have the opportunity to be at the farmers market, experience that, understand the retail end of the farming class. So it's really from seed to harvest to retail, that they would have a broad experience, both the farmers and the summer youth. The youth, I had really wanted to start at about 13 or 14, but now I understand there's a lot involved in that, and it would probably be 16 to 24. So that's what we're proposing at this time. And I'll just pause there because I've probably gone over my time limit, and ask if there's any questions.
Thank you, panelists. Any questions?
Yes. Good evening, Ms. Willa. This is Rob
Hi.
Sims. How are you?
I'm doing great, Rob. How are you?
I'm doing good. I just have one quick question.
Sure.
How many youth are you expecting for this program, and do you have any in the program currently?
So we do not have any in the program currently. We have requested money from you for 5 to 8 youth. And the reason there's a range there is because we will be starting July 1st versus, we could start with them like now because the weather is good. So we might have more than 5, but basically the budget was set on having 5 who were working for 20 hours a week at $10 an hour. But I think that once school starts, weekend or after school work might be possible too. And it would really just depend, on a case-by-case basis when kids were available. And then there's the spring next year before the end of June next year that we could sort of make that up. And so I say 5 to 8. I will also tell you that I also have a proposal into Z Smith Reynolds for a similar ask. And so it's conceivable that we could be doing more like 10 to 12 kids. But right now we wanted to just start small, something that was very manageable. So I'm guessing 5 to 8 kids.
Okay. Thank you, Willa.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Are there any other questions on the panel? Okay. Will,
Yes, I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
yes, now we can hear you. Yes, Dr. Jackson. Go ahead.
Okay. I had a question about the students or the young adults that you are going to be training to be farmers. And I apologize if you mentioned it earlier and I missed it, but are you connecting them with the careers that are related to the farming industry?
Yeah, so they'll be exposed to a lot, understanding. A lot of it's going to be on the ground training. So they will actually work in our working farms with our farm to table coordinator, which is Jose Abro, and a lot of you know Jose. And they'll also be working alongside me and our Vista, our High Point University Vista, but they'll also, part of their paid time will actually be in a classroom setting in workshops where we will cover that kind of information, like what kind of opportunities exist in agriculture, especially urban agriculture. And, you know, if there's some kind of presentation in the area nearby, we might include them in that. So they would get exposure to what it means to have an urban agribusiness, which also includes like your own, you know, your home businesses, like making chicken salad or pimento cheese or that sort of thing.
Okay, so you would be reaching out to places like GTCC, because they have a culinary, you know, and they have agricultural classes that are little to no charge.
We have actually one of our farmers in training has a culinary degree, and he would be working directly with the kids. I think it's not quite as sophisticated as having people from, I mean, we would have people from outside coming in to do some of the like financial management, building wealth. I think Matt Till would probably love to come in and do a workshop for the kids on that. Just knowing him, I know he would say yes. But we're talking more about utilizing the resources we have in the community, with community, and just exposing the kids to that opportunity. And really what we're trying to do is expose them to what having a job means, and everything that we would share with them would be focused on, that would be transferable, if that makes sense, to any kind of job that they might be interested in. They may want to have a summer job in urban agriculture because they can be outside, but they probably haven't ever thought about growing up to be a farmer. So, and that's not required. I mean, it's more about fostering the civic engagement, which, you know, urban agriculture is all about that. It's about getting the community involved, and it's more about community organizing and getting people excited about changing how things are into a vision that you might personally have of either a community garden or an urban farm or a mushroom business inside. Or hydroponics inside. So there's lots of things they'll be exposed to that's just kind of grassroots, community, urban agriculture.
All right, so how is your recruitment process, or what is your recruitment process?
So this first year, we would depend very, very heavily on our partners in the community. I've already had conversations with Floyd Johnson at the Boys and Girls Club, and several, I mean, I've talked to the Excel group, I've talked to LEAP and DUP, and we would really depend on referrals this first year, especially with the low numbers we're looking at. So, and I talked to the guy from, at the High Point Collaborative today, Peacemakers, and the young man who teaches boxing. And I don't have his name on the tip of my tongue because I just met him today, but we would really like to work with the existing community agencies that have kids that feel like they're getting a little bit too old to come in every day.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, okay.
All right, thank you, Dr. Jackson. I don't mean to rush anyone, but I'm trying to be cognizant of the time. We have a few folks that are waiting. Willa, I had a couple of questions, but I'll leave it down to one. That Jessica, she could not make it. But if she did have a couple of questions. I'm just going to ask one. If you can briefly answer, that'll be
Okay.
great. The question that Jessica had was for the Summer Youth Employment and Training Program, do you currently have enough staff to be able to house that program for the
Yes, we
youth that you're
do.
expecting? Okay.
So we currently have 2 farmers in training, a farm to table coordinator, which is Jose, and then we have 2 staff on Grodega. And everyone's excited about this opportunity, and we have me. So, but yeah, so the kids would be always supervised and worked into our regular schedule.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much, Ms. Williamays.
Sure. And if you have other questions, you can just shoot me an email and I'll do my best to answer them.
Okay, we will do that. Thank you. All right, Brandon, whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and pull in High Point Housing Authority.
Christina Jolly.
Okay, there she is. Hello, Christina Jolly, can you hear us?
Yes, sorry. Little bit of a delay in our computer systems here.
Okay, thank you so much for coming on. The panelists were already here, so you can go ahead and start.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. Good evening. My name is Christina Jolly. I am the Vice President of Resident Services here for the Housing Authority of the City of High Point. And so I'd like to present on our fiscal year 22-23 CDBG grant. It is the request for the Family Self-Sufficiency Occupational Training Project. And the goal of this project is to support and assist our program participants that are in the FSS program to become workforce ready, to be able to gain or achieve gainful employment, and to become economically self-sufficient. So our family self-sufficiency caseworkers provide case management and support to these participants. They track their attendance, course enrollment, completion of each of the participants on a monthly basis to ensure the completion of the project. And the expenditures of the grant funds will include the cost of course registration, books, fees, equipment, or anything else that's required as part of the course or the training that they are in. So the FSS Occupational Training Project utilizes the Guilford Technical Community College's Workforce Development Training Program, and that is formally known, many of you may know it as the Quick Careers. We also utilize other local training programs as well as online training modules, just to ensure that there's a variety of training opportunities that are provided in order to meet the participants' different needs. So in order to reach our goals, the FSS caseworkers will be able to identify and solicit. They access career goals. They assist participants with registration and enrollment. And our measurable outputs for this project is that we will have a minimum of 4 FSS participants to enroll in a training course within the time specified. We will provide monthly case management to assist the participants in achieving their goals. And 75% of those participants will complete the homeownership or financial management training as part of that component. So as a result of the project, participants will successfully have the opportunity to increase their earned income, to be able to enhance their ability to become self-sufficient and increase their skills in that as well. So in addition, they can increase their level of earned income, and this is going to aid in fostering economic stabilization and overcome barriers that do prevent economic self-sufficiency for them. Some of the tools that we'll use to measure this will be test scores, case notes from the caseworkers, any changes that are reported in their income, and then of course, certifications or certificates of completion. So in conclusion, since the inception of the FSS Occupational Training Project, which began in 2013, we have had 49 FSS participants complete the project, which is well over the number of required participants or projected participants, which was 32. Out of the 49 participants who have completed the program, 35 have reported an increase of earned income. And so based on the number of participants required versus the number that have completed the program, we actually have a success rate of 150%. So the support of CDBG grant funding definitely has contributed to the success of these participants being able to complete the trainings. It's helped to increase their level of earned income. It's helped them in obtaining employment. And the CDBG grant has demonstrated a positive impact on economic growth and development for our community. So on behalf of the Housing Authority of the City of High Point, I would just like to express our gratitude for your time, your consideration, and we definitely look forward to continuing to work with you. And are there any questions?
Yes, panelists, I would just like to interject here. We're running short on time. So what I would like to do, if you can, just 2 questions. And then if we have any other questions, we can email to Ms. Christina Jolly, okay?
Absolutely.
All right. Okay. So panelists, any questions? Once again, just 2 questions, okay?
If no one else will, hi, Christina. My name is
Hi.
Rob Sims. How are you?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I have a real quick question. How is the selection process in choosing the individuals? Do you go to them or do they come to you?
So the individuals that utilize the funding from CDBG are participants that are already in our family self-sufficiency project or program. And so everyone that is a FSS participant is reminded, and they have information shared with them on a regular monthly basis regarding class openings from GTCC or anything else that we do get through emails or sharing of that kind. So everyone that's in the FSS program has the opportunity to sign up for a training course. And basically the funding part of it is a first come, first serve.
I thank you so much for that response. Thank you, Mr. Robert Sims. Is there anyone that has a question for Ms. Christina Jolly? Okay. All right. I've got one from Jessica Wynn, if you don't mind answering, because she couldn't be here. So the question she had for you is, how do y'all measure success?
Well, ideally, our success is measured by the number of participants that are able to complete. So we want to be able to have all of the participants that enroll complete their actual course. And so then that's how we measure the success of the program, is by the completion and the gaining of the certification, as well as the increasing in their income and employment.
All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Christina Jolly. If we have any other questions, we'll go ahead and email it to you, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. All right, Brandon, when you're ready, you can go ahead and let Open Door Ministries in.
Andrew Crochet.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Andrew Prochet. Andrew?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. For some reason, I'm seeing you twice on my screen. So
Oh,
okay, here
no.
you, yeah, I'm seeing you twice. I'm not sure if you're presenting on one and you're on a phone call, but can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. All right, whenever you're ready, the panelists are here, we're here. Whenever you're ready, you can go ahead with your presentation.
All right.
I'm also here. Can you guys hear me?
Oh, there's Will. Can you see Will?
Oh, that's what it is. Okay, got it. Yes, I see Will.
I'm sorry, guys. Will Bowboy here. I'm Director of Operations at Open Door Ministries. I brought Andrew in because Andrew's going to be basically running this program, what we're asking money for, but I kind of wrote the grant since we had a time constraint. There was a shift in our leadership as far as he took over the shelter and I moved downstairs. And so that's why there's two of us here. I just wanted to clarify why there's two of us here presenting. But what we're looking for is for a housing program out of the shelter. I don't think it's a surprise to anybody on this call that housing costs have gone up. COVID has made things very interesting. And we're in an interesting situation for shelter is the guys, for the first time in literally years since I've been there, the jobs are not the problem. Employment is pretty high right now as far as guys being able to get employment. The housing market, though, is extremely difficult. And we're trying to help give them a leg up as best we can. And Andrew and I, as well as with Catherine Kelly, the case manager, are going to be looking at ways to get very, very creative by looking at private landlords in order to assist the guys, with first month's rent or security deposits to move them out faster. Because if we can move them out faster, we can move other guys in that are still in the streets. And that's kind of the two things that we're trying to accomplish because the tent cities are increasing around us. We see that every day. And so this money would assist us with moving guys quicker out so that we can get them, off the streets and bring them in, and then just keep that revolving process going. And part of the creativity we're looking at with the private landlords, we had a family that actually approached us about 9 months ago and offered us a house with 4-bedroom units in it. And we currently have 3 guys that we placed into that house. And we are able to provide case management on a regular basis to that location. And that has kept all 3 of those guys there for the duration. And that's kind of how I want to change the shelter, the housing program that we have, is because just helping the guys move out and then we don't know what happens to them. I don't think we're really doing a service to them, because they could run into different problems down the road. Something might happen with the job or other kind of life circumstances happen. So us keeping them a little bit closer to us and just checking on them. I'm hoping we can kind of keep the recidivism rate from coming back into the shelter very, much minimal is what we're hoping to accomplish with that. So again, this money would go a long way with helping, looking at 20 individuals we could help to obtain housing, but also if we can help 20 with housing, that allows us to bring more, another 20 into the shelter and off the streets as we continue to deal with that problem that seems to be increasing. And I'm not blaming COVID anymore necessarily, but we're still operating at a 50% capacity because of the continuing health concerns, social distancing, things like that, until we can figure out what we're doing with that situation. So, and then we're going to continue to monitor the guys, for up to 6 months after they leave us is the minimum that I'm looking at, with weekly visits, if necessary, at least phone calls, just to make sure they don't run into, again, problems. We all deal with problems, of course, in our lives, but, a lot of our guys aren't used to problem solving very well on their own. And so I think if we have that link with them, we can kind of head off crises that occur before they get to that point.
All right, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
All right, panel, just to let you know, guys, we're running short on time. So I've urged the panelists just to ask a couple questions to you guys. And then what we'll do is if we have any more questions, we'll email you guys, okay?
That'd be great.
So that being said, panelists, do you have any questions? And again, only two questions, okay? Whomever is ready, you can go ahead and ask.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Rob Sims. Again, just real quick, this isn't a question. This is more of a comment. I just want to say the work that Will and Andrew are doing are incredibly impactful. I was firsthand witness to some of the things that they've done. I was at a luncheon where they brought up a guy who he's totally turned his life a totally different direction. And so I just want to say that this work you're doing is great. And with the new house that you have, I think it's a great idea. So just thanks for all you do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sims. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone else that have any questions? Okay. All right, just got one. Jessica Wynn could not be here. So I'm just gonna read the question that she had. What she said was she wanted to know, as far as the individuals that you're gonna be helping, she wanted to know if you help them with a job, and also how do you work with them so that they're not returning back due to unemployment?
Well, yeah, again, that's where Andrew and the case manager, Catherine Kelly, come into play, and I'd be there to assist them. Because you're right, finding the job is one of those solutions to the housing, but we have to help them maintain that job. And so there's a lot of working with them while we still have them, making sure they get to the job on time, that they're prepared, those kind of things, but also keeping in contact with them once they leave so that we know, hey, if there's a problem coming up, like let's say their hours get scaled back for some unforeseen reason, okay, we need to jump in and figure out what's a good solution for that until it either picks back up or might be a second job or even a third job. I just want to be more proactive than we've been in the past and keep them housed.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you guys for your presentation.
Yes, sir.
And like I said, if we have any other questions, we'll email it to you guys, okay?
Appreciate y'all so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. All right, bye-bye. All right, Brandon, whenever you're ready, you can bring in YWCA. Hello, Miss Jessica.
Heidi Majors with the YWCA.
Hello, everyone. How are you all doing today?
Great.
I'd like to thank you so much for allowing us to come and present, and glad to be here. I'd like to kind of start off a little bit about what is different this year than from previous years. And the main piece is excuse me, we want to ensure that our students that come to YWCA, whether that is through our Hermanos Hermanos program or through our youth services program with after school care, have the access of food at home. And so this year, our team has come with this as we are going to be helping our students through, they will come in and participate in the food program, the food education program for a 2-hour session each week for 8 weeks. And at that point in time, they will actually each week take home a meal for their family, a nutritious meal. And so this is going to affect specifically, we're going to work with our families that are on scholarship and that are have addressed that they have the food instability at home. We have many parents who are participants of our backpack program through United Way. So we've already identified many of our students that have that food instability at home, and this will allow us to work with them for that. So we will have our teaching coordinator as well as our interns from UNCG Nutrition, and we will come up with the weekly plan where our students will not only learn about the basic knowledge of food education and what's healthy and about food preparation, but also how to use the teaching utensils that they have and really understand and be able to maneuver around a kitchen. Now, a big piece is we want to make sure they understand nutrition concepts and what is healthy meals, and really to focus on the needs of their family. So as we move into this program, we will do an intake to identify, does the family have any pre-diabetes or diabetes issues? And we will make meals and plan the meals during our sessions around the needs of the 10 students that are there. A couple of things to note is there are some costs specifically. I mentioned the staff, and then of course there's the the increase of cost of food, specifically around making that meal, using the education, and then making a meal for a family of 4 to take home. And then you see that there is some supplies items. Many families may not have the items to transport home, so we found a great meal prep and tools and utensils that we'll be able to purchase for each family. And we'll also do some assessment. You know, what do they have a stove? Do they have a microwave? Do they have the hot plate? And we'll work with what we know our families have, because just because we're making a meal, if it's something that has to be heated up in an oven, then that's not going to do our family any well if they don't have an oven. So we are going to be addressing all of these barriers and overcoming those with them and looking at ways that we can support our families. From there, like I mentioned, we look to break this into 4 different sessions. We wanted to be able to serve families there. We also were open to the idea that if we wanted just to work with 10 families for the entire year, we could do that also. But we did want to be able to work with as many families that we have and provide that healthy meal once a week for them during that time. At this point in time, I'll open up to any questions.
All right, I'll interject here, Heidi. As you know, we're running short on time, so what I have told the panel is that only 2 questions. Okay. What we will do is we'll email you other questions if there are any. Okay.
Great.
All right.
Thank
So
you.
no problem. So panelists, go ahead with your first question. Is that in any particular order, so y'all can just jump in?
I want to ask how will you find out what they have in their home? I mean, they're just willing to say, you know, because pride is, you know, because of pride, they may not be willing to tell you that they don't have a microwave or.
So Kelly, great question. And one of the things that we're going to do with this is we have a great working relationship with our families. And so as we identify the families to work through and to be a part of, because it's not just the student that's at the YWCA, but it is an entire family that we're looking to support, is we will have that conversation with them, an open conversation. We're also going to do some Google surveys ahead of time so that they don't have to identify themselves. So then we know that going into this one session that, hey, we might need to, is there a way we can partner with an organization to get a crock pot for every family and be able to, find that way through some additional services and resources. And then we plan crock pot meals instead of meals around an oven or that type thing. Does that help answer, Kelly?
And I like the crock pot idea. There are so many families that receive the bag pinto beans or dried beans, and they don't know what to do with it.
Yeah. And maybe it's not even just a crock pot, but the whole new Instapot and all that type piece that can be done both ways. So, I will tell you, if you haven't met Alex, who's our Aquatics and Wellness Director, he and our team around the Teaching Kitchen have some really innovative ideas to really focus on this. But I will say one of the pieces is we're already doing surveys with our families to find out about any maybe chronic diseases or anything there, and supporting through that way. So.
All right, thank you. We got room for one more question from the panel. All right, I'll go ahead. I'm looking at your budget, Heidi. Just one quick question. You had mentioned about the food prices going up, and we all know about that. I was just curious about transportation. You did not put transportation in there, but I'm just curious, is transportation covered?
Well, we would work specifically with students within the YWCA. So if they're already within our after-school care program and on scholarship, then we'll be able to identify them immediately from that aspect, or through our Hermanus program. And we also provide a transportation from the schools to the YWCA for both of those programs.
Okay, so great. Thank you. Yep. Yes, it is. Thank you so much. Well, thank you as well, Heidi, for what you're doing. We are privy to what you've done previously with us before. We just love what you're doing for our community, okay?
Well, it takes a community together, and I appreciate all of you all and the time that you've given. Thank you.
Great. All right, thank you. All right, Brandon, whenever you're ready, you can bring in Salvation Army.
Ronald Rice.
All right, Mr. Ronald Rice, can you hear us? Mr. Ronald Rice. Looks like you're muted, Ronald.
Okay, can you hear me now?
We can hear you now. We can't see you, but we can hear you.
How's
There
that?
you are. There you
Okay.
are. Our panelists were here, so whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and start.
Okay. My name is Ron Rice. I'm the branch manager of the Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club here in High Point. And I would just like to start by saying, thank you for allowing me to come and present to you guys. The name of our project is our summer and after school enrichment program. This program will offer youth that need us most the high quality after school and summer day camp program that helps address learning loss caused during the summer. And this will help, this program is going to help with homework and tutoring, STEM projects, and will help us create partnerships with teachers and educators. We're going to offer character development programs, health and physical fitness programs, and creative arts programs. And all of these will be offered with the proven success that build great futures for our youth in the community. About 70% of the kids that we serve come from low income or at-risk families and are at or below the poverty level. About 40% across the state of North Carolina suffer some learning loss or have suffered some learning loss from the pandemic, the COVID pandemic. And even if you set the pandemic aside for a second, 40% of kids don't retain the information during the summer that they learned during the school year. So our project is geared to kind of help those kids try to get back up to speed. In a time where parents from low and moderate income families are struggling to decide whether to purchase food or pay a light bill because they don't have the resources, the money, they've lost their jobs, or they're still suffering from the effects of COVID-19. We want to help those parents provide a safe place for their children to learn and grow. We want to provide scholarships, opportunities for those families, and some educational enrichment opportunities for those families who, we want to remove the financial burden from those families so that kids that can't normally afford to come to our program would be able to come and just, have a real good, solid educational base to help them level up. The goals of our project, we expect 100% of the kids that come to our program will be able to move on to the next grade level. We expect that 25% of those kids, at least, we expect a 25% increase in their GPA. And we expect those same kids to be at reading level. A lot of kids right now are not at reading level because of what they've experienced over the last 2 years, and we want to get them to that level. Some of the activities that we're going to offer, we have our Power Hour program, which uses tutors to help kids with their academics, to help improve their academics. And we're also going to offer swim lessons to the kids. We're going to offer Smart Moves, which is a program that helps with emotional well-being. As you know, a lot of kids suffered from emotional issues from being cooped up inside during the pandemic. They're just now getting back out, and a lot of them have lost all the socialization skills that they would have learned during that time. And so we are going to be offering programs that help with the emotional well-being of the kids. We want about 70% of our kids to achieve better grades. The tools that we are going to use to measure this is we'll use beginning and end of year report cards. We'll use pre and post tests from our programs. We will also do swim tests for our swimming program. And I believe that's it. As far as the ask, we're asking from you $49,000, and that's completely for scholarships. We're not asking for any for salaries or anything like that. We want to offer 75 scholarships to our summer program. That program normally costs $85 a week. And if we were to be able to get this funding, we would basically be able to have 75 kids that would be fully funded to come to our program. We normally, right now, we're serving 50 kids in our after school program. And we're hoping we're currently trying to get licensed by the state. If that happens, we're expecting our numbers to increase to probably 70 or 75 kids during after school. And we're expecting our numbers for our summer program to be between 85 to 100 and possibly more if we are able to finish the licensing process by the start of summer. So we want to offer 75 scholarships to our summer kids, and we'd like to offer 50 scholarships to our after school kids during the school year. And this funding would go a long way to help us do that. That's pretty much it. If you guys have some questions,
Great.
I'll be answering.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ronald Rice. We're running short on time. So what I'm going to do to the panelists, I'm going to urge y'all, if y'all just one question, and then what we can do is we can email Mr. Ronald Rice any questions that we may have. We'll just have enough time for one question.
Okay, Kelly, get it.
I'm sorry.
Mine can be emailed. Mine's simple.
Mine might be simple.
I have one quick
I just
question.
have a question about the program
Oh, sorry.
and the goal. One of the programs, you didn't name the program, but you said that, or you stated that kids will be reading on grade level in this time frame because of the time spent there.
Yeah, we offer a program here called Stop, Drop, and Read. So we actually have the kids during our summer program. We have the kids take an hour in the day. It's kind of like a rest period. They have all the activity, the fun going on. And we are a STEM program, so make no mistake, they're learning while they're playing. But we actually have them stop and sit down with a book each day and have them read for 30 minutes to an hour. It's a rest period too, so they can read for 30 minutes and rest for 30 minutes, or they can read the whole time if they want. During the school year, when they are finished with their homework, if we're still in homework time, or if they don't have homework, we have them get a book. We have staff members that sit down and help them read. We have tutors that sit down and have them read. And then if they are struggling, or if they are, young, 6 years old, and they haven't quite learned how to read yet, then we have staff members sit down with them one-on-one and actually read to them or help them enunciate the words and things like that.
Yeah, I was just curious about the goal being on grade level. If they come to you not on grade level, like if I have a third grader that reads at a kindergarten level and they come to you, you're saying
Listen,
they're going to be on third grade level?
Hey, listen, I know it sounds ambitious. Ambitious. I get that. But trust me, we have some really good tutors, and our staff is education is important. The kids are our future. I mean, hands down. And if we don't correct what has been lost from the pandemic, our kids are going to suffer, our future is going to suffer, and in kind, our society is going to suffer. So our goal is to put forth every effort that we can to get them at grade level before they start the next school year.
All right, thank you so much. I'll tell you what, let's get one more person in. So I think actually, Jessica, did you have a question?
I did, but I think Tim had one too.
Okay, sure. So let's do that.
Go ahead, Tim.
Jessica, go ahead first, and then Tim, you go ahead after Jessica, okay?
Okay. I was reading the hours of operation, like what summer camp means, and I saw the hours and you said daily. Is that like weekday, or is that including weekends as well?
No, ma'am. Our hours are from during the summer, 7:30 to 6.
Mm-hmm.
And we do provide meals for the kids, breakfast, lunch, snack. In the after school program, the kids we go to the schools and pick them up. They start coming in about 2:30 to 6 o'clock.
Okay. And during the summer though, is that like Monday through Friday?
It is.
Okay.
Unless we have a special program or something that comes up, and sometimes we'll do a special activity on Saturday, but as a general rule, it's 7:30 to 6 Monday through Friday.
Okay. That's it.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, Jessica. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, my question is real quick. Your tutors for STEM, are they college students? Who is doing the tutoring for those kids?
We have some college students, and we also have some teachers that are, they're teachers during the school year, but during the summer, they don't have anything to do. So they come and work for us part-time, and they help us in the summer with our academics.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you all so much. Mr. Ronald Rice, we thank you for your presentation. And of course, if we have any questions anymore, we'll email you, okay?
Yes, sir. Feel free.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Brandon, when you're ready, you can bring in the Theater Art Gallery.
Michaela.
Hello. Okay, I'm just curious. Is it Michaela or Michaela?
Michaela.
Okay, I'm just making sure. All right, Michaela Halfley. The panelists are here, so when you're ready, you can go ahead and start.
Thank you so much for having me. I am Michaela Halfley with the Theater Arts Gallery. I just started as their Director of Education at the end of January, and I am currently working with the Boys and Girls Club, which will be part of our grant request for the coming year. And so in preparing for this grant, I asked the Boys and Girls Club what they needed, what we could help with, because I'm a big believer of if it's with us, if it's for us, it's with us. And so I wanted to ask them what they needed. And they talked about literacy, which kind of piggies back right there with the Salvation Army as well. And so I thought, well, with visual arts, we really can incorporate literacy with the arts. And so it's not always just with reading and writing, but it's also with speaking. And then another thing, because I'm coming from public education, I noticed as well as the Salvation Army that there is a huge need for social emotional learning because of the pandemic. There's been a great learning loss, as well as that social emotional learning loss with the pandemic. And so again, visual arts just ties in great with that. And so another thing we're going to be doing is just having the students learn about identity and learning to identify emotions and learning to regulate emotions, as well as learning to be part of their community. And that goes with being able to talk about their art, as well as doing peer critiques, getting someone to talk about another person's art in a respectable way. And it just works nicely together. And so our grant proposal is called TAG Partnerships, Connecting Art with Literacy and Empathy. And so we want to definitely connect with the High Point Library. I talked with them about bringing in graphic novels to bring in that literacy part with the arts. And that wouldn't be the only project we would do, but that's a big part of that literacy component. And then another thing that, where part of the funding would come from, hopefully, is with the poetry project. And we were grateful to get Josephus Thompson to come in this year. He was only able to work with each site once, and we're hoping to get him to come in at least once a month with the 4 sites that I'm working with. And with the poetry project, that's going to not only help with the literacy part and the speaking part, but it also is with the empathy part, so that they have to perform for each other, but they also get a chance to learn more about who they are and their identity. So some of the measurements is that we will definitely be talking to the Boys and Girls Club. We're just trying to be a supplement to what they're already doing and just kind of add on to the things that they're working on in their programs. And so I would talk to them. So there'd be some informal assessments as well as formal assessments. And the formal assessments would be with entrance tickets and exit tickets, so we could get an automatic feedback of what the kids are thinking about, how they're feeling, as well as doing some surveys to see what they're learning. And then we could also use those artist statements and peer critiques to see how are they improving with writing, how are they working with their spelling, and those sorts of things. So we're hoping that we can work with you all as well and get some funding for this project. We may also try to bring in some additional staffing, since I'm only one person and I have 4 sites that I go to. Right now it's working out well with after school, and we will be able to do a summer program to finish off last year's grant. But for next year's grant, we're probably going to try to bring in some additional people so that we can try to get to every site. Whereas with just one person, it's difficult for me to go to all 4 sites for the summer programs. So thank you very much. I'm trying to keep the time short.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your presentation. Panelists, do you have any questions? Any questions for any questions? Wow. This is different. I think there are so many questions that they don't know which one to ask first.
Well, I'd like to email with you a question. If you can put the email in the chat, that'd be great.
Okay, so Tim, you're gonna email your question?
Yes, please.
Okay, all right. All right, so Michaela has put her email address in the chat. Do y'all see it?
I only sent it to you. I'm sorry. Let me correct that.
Okay. Got it. All right, so guys, go ahead and look at your chat. It's in there. All right, so just one more time. Are there any questions other than what's going to be emailed? Okay, that is it. Well, thank you so much for your presentation, okay?
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
All right, you too. All right, Brandon, whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and pull in United Way of Greater High Point.
LaToya Bullock.
Hello, Miss LaToya Bullock, are you there?
I hope you all can see me and hear me well.
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you. It is so great to have you. I know you so well, and we've worked together so much. So I will I will defer to the panelists. But whenever you're ready, you can start with your presentation. Okay.
All right, well, I am presenting on the United Way of Greater High Points Backpack Program. And the United Way of Greater High Points Backpack Program provides food for children who depend on school breakfast and lunch and do not eat regularly during out of school time. The program has 3 simple goals: to provide food to hungry children, and that is to right now over 1,900 children in a Greater High Point community. One backpack contains 4 meals and a snack. That's a lunch and a breakfast item, and 2 lunches and 2 breakfast items and a snack. And those come with drinks per meal as well. And we are asking to provide relief to parents struggling to feed their children. High Point is ranked number 7 in food hardship. 19% of Guilford County residents are living below the poverty line, and children are experiencing the backlash from that. So they are feeling the brunt of that as well. Our goal is to also improve academic performance. We want to see at least 90% of our children at or above grade level, maintain above average to average grades. The United Way Backpack Program started back in 2010, was serving just 200 students at that time. Now we're over 1,900 students that are in need. And the things that we're doing with our activities, we are providing those things to the school systems. We provide meals every Friday, or if it's a holiday break or summer break, we provide it on a Thursday if it comes on a Thursday or Friday. But we are providing those food items to the children on the weekend to take home to schools, local pantries, after school programs such as the Boys and Girls Clubs, the YWCA, those types of things. And those bags of food with nutritious items for the children to have over the weekend, and simple things that they can fix for themselves. So far, we have seen some increases in costs. I know some other people have talked about that with food, and we do try to keep the costs down. I look for different deals or bargains, but sometimes now, even with the food shortages, we see that I have to substitute other items sometimes that cost a little more than what we used to, and our regular items are costing a little bit more. We anticipate with food prices going up, with rent, utilities going up, that we are going to continue to see the numbers climb of students that will need this assistance from us. So this is why we continue to seek avenues to help, because we see that our donations, we have to find other avenues, because as companies lay off, our donations go down, that people that can give, that used to could afford to give to the program, may now need the assistance for their children. So this is why we have to seek other avenues such as grants to help us to eliminate hunger. So our ultimate goal is to try to eliminate childhood hunger and poverty in our area, to make sure that no child has to go to school hungry, no child has to go to bed hungry, no child should have to feel that need. So that is one of the things that we're doing. And just to know that our area of North Carolina is 1 in 5 children are at risk of getting going without proper nutrition. And this in turn leads to them not being able to learn and grow and be healthy. And we know that those children, if they can't grow now, then they can't grow into be successful adults that contribute to our community. So our ultimate long goal outcome would be that we can produce healthy citizens, healthy children that can contribute and go to school and learn and contribute back to their communities as they grow older.
All right, Ms. Latoya Bullock, thank you for your presentation. Hey, panelists, do you have any questions? All right, I've got one question.
Yes.
So I know that for your backpack program, you're targeting about 1,220 backpacks. Is that correct?
1,900.
1,900.
Yes.
So so my question is, I know that, as you know, the food prices has went up.
Mm-hmm.
I believe you want to provide 2 breakfast items, 2 lunch, 2 breakfast drinks, and I believe 2 lunch drinks and a snack, correct?
Correct.
So with the prices going up, is what you're asking for, is it still going to accommodate all those things in each package for 1,900?
Yes, we're going to continue to try to accommodate that, and we'll look for other sources as prices go up. Some weeks, some months, so we usually make an order once a month. Sometimes I'm able to get some items. It's usually when the items are in shortages where we see the inflation at. So, but we will continue to do that. And right now we also do several food drives, things throughout. Meaning we have people that drop by monthly to donate items for the backpack program. So that helps offset some of the cost, and then grants like this help set all their costs. So we hope to kind of keep that down to that.
Okay. And then one more question. For these 1,900, have you already identified the folks that will be receiving this, or is that something that you're gonna do as you go forward to see where the greatest needs are?
We do it ongoing through the year. Our year starts over in July, that we do form renewals, and we accept those suggestions throughout the year. We have referrals from the agencies. They can refer forms, or if they are at a local pantry, then they are already in the system. We know how many children they have because they fill out paperwork through the Second Harvest Food Bank. And also when we have your grant, they fill out that form and lets us know who needs it. But we do renew it every year, and that's how we know where duplicates come. The schools, the after schools, everybody has a form that they do, and they refer the child and get the parents to do a permission form.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And if
All
you're
right,
wondering,
panelists.
I'm sorry, I was gonna say, if you're
No, go
wondering
ahead.
how we track, I meant to say we do surveys of the children, of the locations where the children go to see if they have improved academic performance or maintaining their grades, if they're no longer fighting for seconds, appear hungry or sleepy. We do those kind of surveys to make sure that the kids are, that the program is meeting a need, and that's our goal.
Okay, panelists, do you have any other questions?
Let me ask this question if I could.
Yep, go ahead.
And good evening to you. How do you guys go about planning the meals?
I have a list that I have set aside, and I have a spreadsheet that I have. And what we do is we partner with the Salvation Army. I make the orders from our distributor, and I have a list of things that I look for, breakfast items that kids like. We consult with the locations to make sure the kids, if we get complaints about something, then I'll pull those items, something that's not working for them. And we partner with the Salvation Army. And another benefit of us partnering with the Salvation Army is that before we were having to pay a company to pack for us, but now we have teams that are underprivileged in the community that pack, and we give them a job skill to do. They learn packing, and we give them gift cards in turn for packing so many. Every bag they pack, they get a certain amount to do that, and they have that to help them with their lives and their school supplies and things that they need.
Gotcha. Thank you.
All right, thanks for that question there, Warren. Any other questions from the panelists? All right, thank you, Ms. Latoya Bullock.
Thank you so much.
All right, we'll see you later. All right, panelists, I thank you all so much for your questions and also for just sticking with me. And I apologize to you guys, but I am really stickler for time. I just, so that's why at the beginning I was trying to, condense everything. But thank you all for being patient as well as receptive. And we're actually on time. So thank you for that, okay? Brandon, when you are ready, you can bring in the senior resources of Guilford County.
Ellen Whitlock.
Hello, Miss Ellen Whitlock. Do you hear, can you hear us?
I can hear you. How are you all doing tonight?
We are doing
Congratulations for being on time.
Yes, there we go. There we go. That's right. And I was just saying, I wanted to thank the panel for just streamlining everything. So, and we're glad to see you again. So it's great to see you.
Thanks.
So
I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, no problem. So we're all here. So whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and start your presentation.
Thank you so much. It's great to be back with you all again this year to talk about the other end of the spectrum from what Latoya was talking about with child food insecurity. You all have been so supportive of Senior Resources of Guilford over the years to ensure that we can help eliminate hunger among our senior neighbors. Currently, we're receiving funding through your committee, and we're incredibly grateful for that. You have allowed us to feed 5 older adults in low-income areas this year, a home-delivered meal, Monday through Friday, that meets 1/3 of the required daily nutrients for older adults. Senior Resources has submitted an expansion grant for this year in the amount of $9,950. Let me make sure I got that right. Yes, $9,950. And that will allow us to feed 2 additional people in this upcoming fiscal year. As you all know, High Point is a large food insecurity area, not only in our country, in our state, but in our country. And so currently we have 48 individuals in High Point who are in need of getting a home delivered meal. And we would like to be able to take 2 of those individuals off of our waiting list and add them on to the 5 that are currently getting meals. This year, we have not had any attrition in those 5 individuals who are receiving meals. And so we would like to be able to continue meals for those individuals. Many times what we see and hear from our meal recipients is that having the nutritional support allows them to continue to live independently in their home. Most older adults want to live there as long as it is safe for them to do so and that they can maintain their independence. And we like to build community resources around them in an effort to support them in that effort. Senior Resources provides over 500 meals a day to someone in Guilford County. We have seen tremendous growth during COVID for the need for Meals on Wheels. Many of our seniors have experienced significant health declines. Many of them are still just scared to go out and interact in public places. And so they have reached out to us for nutritional support. To receive a home delivered meal, you must be 60 or older. You must not be able to prepare a meal for yourself, and you do not have anyone available to prepare that meal for you. And so we deliver around noontime each day a meal to you. But not only do they get that nutritional support, they get that wellness check. We have 2 drivers that deliver meals in High Point in specialized vehicles that allow for heating and cold foods to be kept at temperature. And we take those meals to these folks, and it's a wellness check. It's somebody to say hi to. Frequently, we are the only other human that they talk to all day. And so for them, it is a great deal of security. It is a great deal of knowing that somebody is going to check on me. For working families, particularly those families that may work hourly jobs and not have the flexibility to go and check on a loved one or take them a lunch meal, it's a comfort to them to know that they can be focused on their employment and that someone else is going to fill that gap. As I shared with you at mid-year, we did experience a rather significant increase in our food costs this year. Golden Corral is our caterer. They have been with us a number of years. They provide me an amazing quality product. I have gone through a number of vendors over the year. And to have a staff and an owner that cares so much about the food that they produce, the man that owns the company says, if I can't serve it to my mother, then I shouldn't be serving it. So these folks are getting a great lunch. And but as time marched on with COVID, supply chain issues, the cost of gas, the list goes on and on. He did have to submit a price increase to us of 12%, which equated to about 50 cents a meal. So we're seeing it's a perfect storm, just like for many other organizations. You're seeing an increase in the number of individuals who need the food, and you're seeing an increase in your stock, cost and your staffing and your needs to provide for additional people. Obviously, the number of older people are growing as we see the baby boomers come into this picture. And while we all hope to be healthy as we age, we can't guarantee that. And we are seeing more and more younger people come into the program as well. We have set several goals. We will be providing a minimum of 1,820 meals during the grant period that would end June 30th of 23. And we will be providing meals to 7 low to moderate income seniors that are in the census zones that are of importance to you all to ensure that people have services between July 1st and June 30th of next year. Each individual receives about 260 meals during the 12-month period. We have been very, very fortunate recently to receive a tiny bit of money that needs to be spent by the end of June. And so we're going to be able to provide a frozen meal for people on Fridays to eat over the weekends and provide them with a little bit more nutritional health as well. So we're excited to be able to offer that component. We're very grateful to the community for the different ways that they have supported us during COVID, because they have given us things that our folks would never get. Biscuitville gave biscuits to everybody one day. United Healthcare provided sandwich bags. Somebody that couldn't sell their strawberries last summer brought them to us, and we were able to take bushels of strawberries to people. So we've really seen the community surround our seniors and care for them and help them. And your help and your continued support is going to make a difference for these older adults as they continue to stay healthy. When you see individuals' nutritional health decline, you're going to start seeing other things decline and other health factors come into that situation. And so we are trying to prevent that and to help, because we use social workers to do the assessments and the reassessments. We're able to look at the total picture. We're able to see what else. We go into the homes, and we have been doing that now for over a year. We did temporarily suspend in-home visits during COVID, but we did not suspend delivering food. But we did not send our social workers into the houses for a period of time. But now we're back, and we're able to look at other community resources that they need to help maintain their independence, their health, their mental health, to avoid depression and to continue to enjoy their later years.
All right, thank you, Miss Ellen. Is that your finish of your presentation, Miss Ellen Whitlock?
I can't tell how much time I have left.
Well, you're actually, if you've got like a minute left if you want to say anything else.
Our funding comes from the Older Americans Act, from sources like you all, from the United Way, which we're incredibly grateful for. We have been experiencing reductions in United Way funding, which certainly affects our capacity. And of course, the United Way has experienced some challenges during COVID in meeting their goals and being able to allocate to their organizations what we received in the past. So your gifts and your increase allows us to continue to sustain our services at the level that needs to occur.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. All right, panelists, the floor is open for your questions. So just go right ahead. And y'all can jump right in, okay? So don't be shy to ask.
And I would encourage you all to come and go on a ride with us one day to meet the people that you all are helping, to get to see the living conditions that they face, and to get to know some of the senior neighbors that we're able to help due to the generosities of our communities.
All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and ask one question of you. I'm looking at your budget, and I'm just curious, of course, the food prices has went up. And I'm wondering if the what you're asking for, the 9,950, is it still, when you get that food, is it still keeping in consideration? It looks like you're trying to serve about 1,820 meals. Is that correct?
Yes, because he did the price increase in November, we do have to put our program out for bid this summer. And I've had a conversation with him. We could get other bidders as well, but you have to have a great deal of infrastructure in order to meet our needs because of the quantity. We're required to temp the meals to ensure safety and things of that nature. So there are a number of things that we have to make sure that we're doing. And so I have already had a conversation with Golden Corral. And while we may see some price increase, we will not see anything near the 12% that we saw earlier. He had tried to plan ahead and plan for the future as well. And so the one thing that worries me the most is the gas prices, because it went 52 cents at our neighborhood station today. So, that certainly is an impact. And they pay, Golden Corral covers the gas for the 2 delivery trucks that we have. And so that's a bite for them.
Okay, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because that was going to be my second question about the cost of fuel, if that was taken into consideration. So thank you for that. All right, go ahead, panelists. We got some time.
I have a question.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
So, and good evening to you, Ms. Whitlock. Do you guys allow your participants to choose what they may get? Or do you guys just prepare it?
Thank you for asking that. Our meals are prepared. We sit down with the Golden Corral and do a menu planning twice a year. We then have a registered dietitian review those menus and ensure that they are accurate and meet the requirements. Prior to COVID, yes, we did allow some choice. We are not allowing choice right now. The restaurant has struggled, as all of us have, to maintain staff, and having the varied meals is just more than they can do. We do hope to get back to that in the not too distant future.
So you're saying if Brussels sprouts are on the menu and I don't like Brussels sprouts, I just have to suffer, right?
Well, that could be the case, or maybe you could learn to like them. But no, you're exactly right. You sound like one of our former presidents, but it was broccoli. The good news is that things like broccoli and Brussels sprouts do not constitute well in long-term heat. And so it is more green beans, lima beans, peas, things of that nature. And when we did allow choice, we did it with the entree. We are in conversations that have kind of stalled during COVID with the hospitals to talk about how we could do diets that meet other people's needs, because we work with a large number of refugees and we try to design food that they eat that is culturally sensitive, because that's important. And so we're aware of it. We'd like to be able to move into some renal diets and things of that nature. But given the current climate and, the one thing that I would, not only would I ask you all for funding, but if you know anybody that is looking for a position to drive for a nonprofit a few hours a week, we are desperate for drivers, just like the schools are. But, we'd like to be able to get back to more choice, because I do believe that most of us get to choose what we eat at night. And so these folks deserve that opportunity as well. But again, the meal has to meet 1/3 of the nutrients that have been established by the government. And so sometimes that's hard to do and make people happy, because there's not a lot of salt, there's not a lot of sugar. So we know we disappoint folks sometimes when we can't do a good dessert and things like that.
Very good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for asking. I won't send you Brussels sprouts.
I will leave them on the step. and cranberry sauce. Don't send that.
All right, any other questions, panelists?
Maybe we
Mr.
can get Michelle to do a survey of what foods you guys will eat, so we can plan for the next generation of meal deliveries.
Yes, that sounds good. Dr. Jackson, do you have any questions? Okay, Mr. Robert Sims, any questions?
No, Mr. Chair, thank you.
All right, Ms. Kaishona Person, any questions? Mr. Tim, Andrew, any questions? All right, and Mr. Belton, do you have any questions? Okay, all right, Ms. Ellen Whitlock, thank you so much. I know if we have any other questions, we'll just email you, okay?
That'll be great. Thank you all so much. Have
All
a
right.
good night.
Great, good night. Thanks for your presentation.
Thank you.
All right. So before we get to our next what's next on the agenda, which is announcements, I just want to go ahead, just to thank you guys, panelists, for your patience and also for the questions that you ask and for everything just moving in order. I also want to thank those that presented just now for the CDBG presentations that they made. And all these companies, of course, are doing a great job here in High Point. So that's why I just wanted to bring that up. And I just thank you all for what, as a panel, what we're doing to help to aid them as they help our community, our neighbors. Okay. Next on the agenda is announcements and comments. Let's go ahead and start. Is there anyone that has any announcements that they want to bring up? I know there's a few things happening this weekend. So you can jump in. I know, Michelle, you probably have a few for us.
Yes, I would just talk about Operation Inasmuch, and I thank you, Dr. Jackson, Rob, Warren, and I think that's it. You guys signed up to participate in Operation Inasmuch. You got an email from me a little bit earlier, basically telling you where you need to go. And so Operation Inasmuch will take place. We'll be in the Washington Street neighborhood on Saturday. We'll start out at about 7:30 and we'll end about 3:30 or so. So we're going to have a really good day. Megan and I'll also be there along with some other city employees. And so we're just going to go and do some repairs and do what we need to do to make the neighborhood look better and to be able to help individuals who need repairs on their homes and normally cannot afford to get that done. And so that's what we're going to be doing on Saturday.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Is there anything else anyone wants to share as far as announcements? All right, I do have one. Miss Rebecca Coughlin was on before, and she this weekend she had talked about the Great American Cleanup, and that's also on Saturday. There are various places, but it's going to be from 9 to 1. Okay, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Anyone else have any other announcements? Okay.
Mr. Chair, I'd just like to mention real quick, early voting starts.
Yes, sir.
So, anybody who wants to get out and vote, they can do it now. I'm not sure what the date is for Election Day. I think it's May
17th.
17th. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Andrew. So yeah, everybody, if you can get out to vote. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Robert Sims. That is correct. So guys, early voting has started and it will be ending on May 17th. So make sure, like what Robert said, make sure that you do vote. Okay. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's not vote, but then complain with the results. Okay. So let's make sure that we vote.
So that elections that matter, the little ones.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Exactly. All right. Is there anything else from the seat? I'm just curious, anything that's happening this weekend that we need to be aware of other than Operation Inasmuch and the Great American Cleanup?
I think the High Point University, is having the open house for the Children's Museum.
Oh.
I think that's also this weekend.
Okay.
So, that's going to be exciting to the community.
Yes, it is.
Laurel, can I
Great,
just
thank you.
add something?
Sure.
In Washington Street updates, Jackie just said that they're going to be doing a community feeding in May and July. I'm not sure if they accept volunteers for that because I haven't seen that process, but if they do and you're interested, I know our next CAC meeting isn't until the end of May. So
Right.
just something to keep in mind. If you can't make the May one, there's one in July. And I think that's it. Oh, and London Woods is having a movie night in May as well. So. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So as far as those two are concerned, is it that we contact the neighborhood leaders, or did they leave some other way to contact?
Yeah, they're doing a community feeding in May. So I'm sure you can just reach out to Jackie or shoot me an email.
Okay.
I may have some insight as well.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. We can send you guys out the dates and the times for those events that Megan is talking about. We'll just go ahead and send it out to you in an email.
Yeah.
Sure, thank you. All right, anything else? Okay, our next CAC meeting is gonna be May 26th, okay? May 26th. So I'm getting ready to make sure that I have it here on my calendar as well. So that's Thursday, May 26th, okay? Be ready for our CAC meeting, just in case. That's 2 days before my birthday, okay? So May 26th. Good.
I was just gonna say, once you guys finish your scoring, I will go in the system and take a look and see where you guys are and what people have scored individuals on, and then I will send you out a spreadsheet with everyone's scores on it, so that then you guys can have some discussion and decide on who you have who you are going to recommend to City Council to get these fundings. And so, I don't know, I guess maybe in about a week, you guys may be finished with your scoring, and then I can go into the system and take a look at where you are. Is a week long enough for you?
Long enough for me, but I noticed when I tried to go in, and I may just be doing something incorrectly. When I click on, the arrow to go scores, it won't let me.
Do what now?
When I click on the area for the score, it won't let me score it. Now I could be doing, something wrong. But
It won't let you score to put your scores in the area. Okay, then I'll take a look at it on tomorrow.
Okay.
Have you gone in and scored any?
No.
It hasn't let you do that. Okay, I'll take a look at that on tomorrow.
My password and everything updated, and not updated, active.
Okay, I will get back with you, Dr. Jackson, on that on tomorrow to see what the issues might be.
That being said, has anyone tried to score other than Dr. Jackson? You have, Rob?
Yes.
Have you had any issues?
No.
I haven't had no issues.
What are y'all clicking on? What are y'all? Because I might be able to solve it.
Well, I know when I log in, there are the list of applications. And so what I'm clicking is the little arrow to the far right.
Yeah, that's what I clicked.
So I click that on, and then if you go, the next screen gives you options to the far left. So there's a menu, and then I choose one of those options that's on the menu to the left. So it'll say application, budget, and then I think you get a tab where there's it says scoring or something to that effect.
There it is. Thank you so much. I clicked on applications and documents, but when I saw complete scoring, I said, I'm not clicking that. I'm not finished. I remember somebody saying, don't, submit it or something if you're not finished. You can't go back in and change. I remember something faintly about that. When I saw that, I was like, I'm touching it. And I should have been touching that. But thank you.
All right. Michelle raised the question. Just want to make sure, is everyone okay with the week time frame to get all the scoring done? Okay. Okay, great, thanks. So Michelle, yes. So it should be finished in the week.
Okay, wonderful. So I would say you guys should really be finished by next Friday. And then I can take a look during the weekend and on Monday to see where you are so that we can get back and have whatever discussions you guys might have. And then give you a spreadsheet, sending you out a spreadsheet via email as to where you guys are in terms of the scorings so that you guys can make recommendations.
Yep, sounds good. Thank you, Michelle. All right, is our next on the agenda, are there any items that you would like to be discussed for next month's meeting?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Is there a way we can discuss the possibility of visiting some of these applicants, visiting some of these organizations? I know we did before COVID. I didn't know if that was a possibility now this year or at all.
And are you talking about the groups that we have right now? Once they get approved, which will not be until we get our funding allocations, because we don't have our funding allocations at this point. That's why things were sort of pushed back. And the earliest that you would be able to go out and look at, if you want to look at what they're doing now, the earliest that you would be able to go out for this particular grant will start in July. If you just want to go out and just visit the agency, and especially the ones that we're in grant period with them now, we can make arrangements for that. I think most of them have pretty much opened up and are allowing people to be able to do some things. But if you want to do that, we can make arrangements for that to happen, and we'll find out from the agency if that's something, you know, that they will be still willing to do with, you know, with everything still transitioning from COVID, just to see what their protocols are. So if you want to wait till July, we can make that, we can do that. Or if you want to do something right now with the agencies that we currently have that we're giving grants to.
Well, I would be interested. I mean, I can wait till July. That's fine. I was just wondering if there was that opportunity. So yeah, whenever we can, I'm interested.
Okay, so I'm just saying, do you want to go in now with some of the agencies, or do you just want to wait till July with this new set of grantees that we will probably be getting?
I would prefer to wait till July, and if some of us in this group can go as a group, maybe 2 or 3 at a time, you know, just to see the ones we've selected, how they're going to implement it, that type of thing. So I'd rather wait till July, but I leave that up to the group.
I think July is a good idea.
Okay.
Yep, I agree.
Also, if there's some kind of badge or something that I could wear when I visit places, so I don't get looks like, you looking for the exit? You know, I just kind of.
Well, Dr. Jackson, there is a badge that there is a name tag that the CAC has, but because we have been meeting virtually, we have not ordered we have not ordered badges, I mean, name tags for the new members. And so we can do that also. I think everybody has a badge, with the exception of you, probably Kishana. Warren, you don't have a badge.
Oh, he
And
does not.
Tim,
yeah.
I don't have
Tim
one.
doesn't have a badge, nor is Jason. But you guys came on sort of like at the beginning of the, well, not tail, I'm sorry, at the beginning of the pandemic. And so because we're meeting virtually, we did not order those.
All right, good. All right, is there anything else? Next on the agenda says other. So anything that anyone would like to share that were not discussed?
Yes, Mr. President, real quick, I'd like to say your time was great. I appreciate you being expeditious with our agenda today. we can have meetings like that all the time. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you for that, Mr. Robert Sims. Thank you. And
I'm sorry, I apologize for going in on the Salvation Army guy. Yeah.
No, you're fine, Dr. Jackson. Your questions were right on point, and that's what we're here for, right? Because we're making sure the monies are being allocated properly, and all these companies are being vetted properly, so that when the money goes out, you know, our community know that we did our due diligence to make sure the funds are being used as it should be, you know, asked for.
I didn't want to ask him or inform him that Stop, Drop, and Read is not a reading program when I asked him about programs. And, you know, just kind of thinking about the goals of being to improve reading rather than the goal to bring a person reading on the kindergarten level to a third grade level, which we all want that, but we should say, wherever you are today, that's not where you're going to be tomorrow, that kind of thinking.
And I also think, Dr. Jackson, coming from you, that raised credibility to your question as well. Also because of your background. So what I would also do, if you want to, I would follow up an email to him, you know, just to reiterate that question and just to see what his response is, just to make sure there's clarification.
And if you guys want to, if you have questions and if you want to write them down and send them to me, tell me which agency those questions are for, we can forward those over to the agencies, copy you guys on those questions so that everybody can, you know what that question was or whatever. But if you want to do that, please try to do that within the next day or so that we can stay on target with our completion by the next Friday. If you guys can do that, just jot the questions down and say, this is for Salvation Army, this is for Housing Authority. We will send them directly to those individuals and then get them back to you, you know, with that, and copy you on those questions. So when they come back, you have it right there, and you know, and that if that makes it easier for you and less time consuming to try to get email addresses and that type of thing, you can do that.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, Michelle, actually, thank you for that too as well. Also, just in case they're not duplicate questions, you know, from each person. So yes, team, and Michelle, if you don't mind, if you could just also follow up with an email to our CAC members, that especially those that were not here or had to jump off early. But yeah, that's a great suggestion, Michelle. It's just, let's go ahead and send our questions to Michelle with the agency that the questions are for. So once she sends it out, all of us can see the questions, and we can see what their response is to the questions as well. So we're all having the same information. There are no duplicates, and we know exactly what the response is. Even as we're scoring, we can take that into consideration. All right, any other thing else before we go to our next agenda item? All right, well, next on the agenda, and before I say that, is there anything else from the city before we adjourn?
Nothing.
Okay.
I have something. Just wanted to say Vida's over, and a ginormous thank you to Rob and Orel for their time and commitment. We did close to 800 returns. Y'all are amazing. We got $998,000 in refunds. Y'all are the bomb. That's just thank you. And it was a really successful year. So we have reports coming out. So kudos to you guys. Thank you.
And Megan can share those reports with you guys at the next meeting.
Yeah.
By
Awesome.
site and all together.
Wow, thank you so much. And Rob and I, we're just glad to be a part of that. But we definitely have to say thank you to you, Megan. We saw you working even when you were not there. We saw and we heard the calls being put in. We saw the text being put in. Hey, if we have a question, we can email you and you're responding back or texting. So thank you so much. And of course, we thank the city, Michelle, for the hospitality of that place, because the people were able to come and we're able to get them in, get all those paperwork and all that stuff with getting the preparation done. And so just thank y'all as well, for everything that y'all did to make this a success.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. All right. So next on the agenda is adjournment. So do we have a motion?
So moved.
All right, so moved. Is there a second?
Second from Tim Andrew.
Okay, Tim seconded. All in favor of being adjourned? Say aye.
Aye.
All right, let it be noted. Everyone says aye. So this meeting is adjourned.